Okay, welcome back. So we were about to do the last December column here, the final December column, and the total column. And just to explain about this last column here, you've done it at ordinary level. You know that it's a total column. It's just everything across in the line, in each line gets added up and put in here. Okay, but I suppose just to so that we know exactly what this total column represents, like whatever is in the top here is the total value of the cost of land and buildings on that date, the 31st of the 12th. Same goes, this is your total aggregate depreciation on land and buildings on the 31st of the 12th. So all of these totals, if you like, are the figures that you would use if you wanted to make a balance sheet on or as at the 31st of the 12th, 2006 for this business. All of these totals will be used. So let's just look at the final December column and how we handle it, and it has to do with this May column that we already made out. And just in preparation for this, I added in the initial value of advertising prepaid that you had on the 1st of the 1st, 2006 there, because we will need that for our calculations in a moment. So, I'm on the wrong page here. 2007. Okay, tabular statement. So in in the May here, we've got received a bank statement 31st showing a direct debit 3,000 to cover advertising for the year ended 31st of the 5th, 2007. And we already said that that means you're prepaying for some advertising for next year, for 5 months of next year, in fact, isn't it, of 2007. So it says the 3,000 is cover advertising for the year, so that's 12 months worth of advertising, but 5 months of those 12 are next year. So let's figure out, first of all, how much those 5 months of advertising are worth. So if we do a little working down here, it's 3,000, and if that's for 12 months, we divide that by 12 to get 1 month. So what are we talking about? 750, isn't it? Or sorry, 750, isn't it? Okay, 750. And then if we want 5 months, we multiply that by 5. That's 3,750 is 5 months. I have a feeling I've done that wrong. Let me get my calculator here. It's late in the day now, so mistakes will be made. 250, shouldn't it be, I'd say, divided by 12. 250, that sounds much better. Okay, so 250, if I divide that by 12, multiplied by 5 is 1,250. 1,250. Okay, so we know that at the end of the year, I should have, as one of the assets in my balance sheet, or in the total column of my tabular statement, I should have an asset of advertising prepaid to the value of 1,250. So what I do here to calculate what goes in here in the 2nd December column, I first work out, well, what should advertising prepaid look like in my balance sheet at the end of the year? And we've worked out that it should be 1,250, an asset of 1,250, or we should have 5 months of advertising prepaid at the end of the year. Okay. The next thing then, it's sort of like we're working backwards. We're saying, well, if that's what the final figure should look like, what do I need to put in here to make the final figure become 1,250? Well, at the moment, if I were to add across here, I started with 1,350. I put in another plus 3,000. So 1,350 and add 3,000 to it is 4,350. But I want it to be this, not 4,350. So what I do is I say 4,350 is what I've got. I want it to be 1,250. So I subtract the 1,250 from it to see what the difference between those two figures is. And taking that, that's what, 3,100? So I know that I have to reduce this 4,350 by 3,100 to get left with 1,250. So in here, I need to reduce the total of this line by 3,100 to get to this figure of 1,250. So I need to put in a minus 3,100 here. Okay, minus 3,100. And again, sort of like, I suppose the last one, I'm always then going to put 3,100 in the profit and loss line also, but I only just need to decide, is it going to be a plus 3,100 or a minus 3,100? And in this case, what would I need to put in here, plus or minus 3,100, so that I'd have the same total above and below? Well, at the moment, it would have to be a minus 3,100, wouldn't it? Because then I'd be minus 3,100 up here, minus 3,100 down there. So for a start, I put in minus 3,100 here. And I put it up on top because I'm going to put a second figure, because the other thing I need to fix was this rent receivable prepaid that happened in May also. So that's it. Work out this figure first and then work backwards to figure out what this should be. And we're going to do the very same thing with this rent receivable prepaid. So let's look at what it said about the rent receivable. You got a credit transfer, money into your account, 2,500 euros to cover 10 months rent, and it'll be going rent in advance from the 1st of May. You'll be paying for somebody will be paying you all their rent from the 1st of May for 10 months. So again, if we use our fingers, we go 1st of May to the end of May is 1 month, June, July, August, September, October, November, December, January, February. So you're going to have 2 months of next year prepaid. So we need to figure out, what is 2 months prepaid rent? How much is that going to come to? So what we look at is, it was 2,500 for a start, and that was for 10 months. So 2,500 divided by 10, well, I should be able to do this hopefully, is 250. So that's for 1 month, and then for 2 months I multiply it by 2, is 500 euros. Okay, so just be careful. The last one, this one was for a year's worth of advertising, so we divided by 12. This was for 10 months worth of rent, so we divided by 10. And the 2 months prepaid then is 500. So that's what we should have at the end of the year in our total column for rent receivable prepaid. We should have a figure of 500. So now all we need to know is, what do I put in here so that when I add across here, I get a total of 500? Well, there's nothing to add across really. There's only one figure in there because there was none at the start. So 2,500, I must reduce it to 500. So I think we don't need to do too many calculations to know that you have to minus 2,000 to get down to a figure of plus 500 there. Okay, and again, if you pretend then that you don't have that 3,1 already in there, pretend that doesn't exist. What do I need to put into the profit and loss line again, so that if this minus 2,000 were here, I would have a total up here which would be the same as the total down here? Well, if we imagine that these weren't there, then the total up here would end up being 0, wouldn't it? So the total down here is so far minus 2,000. If I wanted to make it 0 also, I'd have to put in a plus 2,000, won't I? So then when we do all our totaling, this is going to be minus 3,100. This is going to be the minus 3,000, the plus 2,000 and the minus 2,000 are going to cancel each other out, and this is going to be minus 3,100 as well. And so the last part of the question, all you need to do to finish off then is just add all of the lines across here, and then once you have them all added up, all your totals here, add the totals, total the totals if you like, to get your grand total here and your grand total down here. So